Hi everyone, Chelsea here with Healing Embodied, and today I want to share why no amount of talking is going to help you heal from your relationship anxiety, and I'll explain why. So, the reason why you have this gut fear response around your relationship, why if someone says something about a breakup or their relationship or their partner, why it triggers this gut reaction, that like dropping feeling in your stomach, the tightness in your chest, and then the spiral of thoughts. The reason why that happens is because there is an unhealed pain point there. There is a programmed nervous system reaction. Somewhere in the past, you were inundated with beliefs or experiences about relationships, whether romantic or otherwise, that programmed in you this fear around relationships. Maybe it's fear around commitment. Maybe it's fear around making the wrong choice. It could have been that your parents split up. It could have been that you were raised in a really rigid religious household that had all these really strict rules and beliefs. It could have been that you were bullied. It could have been that your parents or one of your parents was so unstable that you had to do everything perfectly just to make sure that they were okay. So these experiences that happen in relationship cause this nervous system response, a survival response. And anxiety is usually the fight or flight response. So there is this ingrained nervous system response around relationships. And so every time something pokes at that wound, you get this whole response and it triggers this series of thoughts. And the thoughts about your partner or your relationship is just your mind trying to make sense of this feeling in your body. Eckhart Tolle calls this the pain body. And if you haven't read anything by Eckhart Tolle or listened to any of his videos on YouTube, I need you to go do that now. That's actually a part of my one-to-one curriculum is his book, The Power of Now. So he talks about the idea of the pain body. And I also understand that as a programmed fear response in the nervous system. And so what the pain body or this programmed fear response in the nervous system does is it feeds itself. It keeps itself active and alive through these thoughts about your relationship. And so the more you stay in these thoughts and the more you go round and round and round in the loop, the more this pain body is feeding itself, the more it's keeping itself active and alive. The thoughts feed the response, and the response in the body keeps the thoughts going round and round. Every feeling, behavior we have is driven by a nervous system response. So these fearful thoughts and reactions about your relationship are driven by this fight or flight response. That's why we can't out-talk ourselves out of it. We've got to drop down into this response, into the pain body, and feel, communicate with what has been stuck there. Again, there's this wound that's buried, stuffed down. It's in there. It lives in your nervous system. It lives in your cells. And I'm going to be real with you. The only way to heal it is to feel it. It's stuck energy that gets poked at and then activated. And so what needs to happen is you need to move it out. You need to feel it, experience it, be with it, see it, validate it. And then, and only then, will it release from your nervous system? Will it release from your cells? Eckhart Tolle calls that tuning into the inner aliveness of the body. Rather than staying in the mind, again, which is feeding the pain body, which is feeding the fear, we've got to go into the body because the body doesn't complicate things. The body doesn't create all these stories and new thoughts. It's just about feeling. It's actually really simple when we begin to drop down into the body. And the more we talk about the fears and the thoughts, the more we're keeping it alive. Yes, it's important to talk through it, but if you're completely ignoring the body and you're leaving out the nervous system, it's going to take a lot longer to heal. Maybe that's why you've tried talk therapy and you still feel triggered. I did talk therapy for years And I'd say like 50% of the time I left feeling more triggered because we would talk about it and then my therapist would say something that would like put a new angle and thought in my head. So I would leave being like, well, my therapist said this and I hadn't thought about that yet. And oh shit. And so it kept the story alive and active. It kept feeding the fear in my nervous system. And it wasn't until I learned to tune into my body and shift my nervous system from constantly afraid and anxious and contracted until I went from that and shifting it to safe, open, free. That is when everything changed in my relationship with my relationship anxiety, because I no longer felt the need to listen to the thoughts, to feed into the thoughts, because I realized that there was a truth, there was a wisdom that was so much deeper than what my mind had to offer. That once I actually allowed myself to feel, to tune in, to connect, things started to change. So no amount of talking is going to actually help you change your reactions to the thoughts. It's not actually going to help you change the behaviors. You've got to go into the nervous system and shift it from this constant feeling of fear to feeling safe to commit, to feeling safe to taking a risk, to feeling safe to choosing your partner, right? All these thoughts about your partner, about your relationship, they're driven and they're kept alive by this nervous system response. And the thoughts keep feeding the fear, and you come up with new fears. So that's why you have to go into the body, communicate with this pain body that keeps getting activated, and allow it to be released and rewired from a place of fear around relationships to a place of safety and connection around relationships. So if you find yourself stuck in the pain body, if you find yourself constantly being triggered and activated into anxiety and fight or flight and getting stuck in the loop of thoughts, and it's sabotaging your relationship, it's making you question your relationship every day, it's making you wonder, should I stay, should I go, should I leave them? If that's you and you're ready to be free from this relationship anxiety, if you're ready to move beyond this fear, then I invite you to send me a message. I'm really excited because I not only have a one-to-one individual program, but I now have a group program where you can connect and get support from other people who know exactly what you're feeling. And you'll no longer be like, is it anxiety or is it true? Because you'll hear everyone else say it and be like, oh, wow, this is anxiety. So if you're ready to move beyond fear so that you can embrace love wholeheartedly, then send me a message and we'll set up a free and obligation-free relationship assessment where we will map out the exact steps it would take for you to get out of your thoughts and into the truth and the freedom and the wisdom of your body so that you can embrace the love that is standing right in front of you. And even if you decide the program is not right for you, you'll gain serious clarity and understanding on what's really going on and why the anxiety is really there. So send me a message. I can't wait to chat with you, and sending you all much love today.